Video?
Yeah.
Can you mute us?
Web show in the cipher once again. What is up? Let's do this damn thing.
A great marijuana. That is the purpose of this meeting, ladies and gentlemen. Marijuana is Mary Jane, pot, weed, or tea.
We're smoking reefer.
The weirdest thing smoking on the internet. PodHeads. Hey, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's 420 on another hashtag Weed Wednesday, and you are in the cipher with the PodHeads. Is your commander-in-chief, Frank the Tank. And as always, I'm hanging with my very best buds, JB Perez.
What's up? That's right. We're in the cipher once again. Each and every Wednesday. Shout out to you guys out there on Facebook, Instagram. We love you guys too. We're podcasting it up. Let's do it, boys.
Yes, sir. Big Ace to my left.
What it do, what it is, what it look like.
Yes,
What's
sir.
going on, everybody? It's your boy Big Ace. The PodHeads, we here, baby. Let's go.
We're here another Wednesday. Every Wednesday, we're here for you. Tried and true. I like the mother wannabe podcasts out there. There's so many podcasts out there that claim to be. There's a few wannabe podheads out there,
Right?
And then there's so
Except no
many
imitations.
You know, I seen there's even Raw has a guy. There's so many like smoker 420 podcasts or personalities out there, but I don't think there's anybody that presents information.
And a
like
lot
we
of them
do.
came out
Like,
after us too. I just want to put that out there.
That's a good point too.
Fighters.
Yeah. Not saying we started the movement, but ain't nobody doing it like the podheads.
Appreciate the love from everybody.
Shout out to WJHM102jams.com. You can catch all our episodes there every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Joe Boy, all the guys over there. The everywhere you get your podcast, right? Apple, Android, iHeart, what is it? Spotify. Basically, anywhere you get your podcast, you can listen to good episodes, right? Old episodes. We got some funny stuff out there. We got some interesting, some thought-provoking stuff out there. We've also got some very interesting interviews coming up. So we're going to have some exciting things coming too. Sure. Thepodheads.com, all that good stuff.
There you go. Website.
So yeah, it's going to be fun. Today we're going to talk about death.
Dun, dun,
death.
dun.
facts about that. Just we've had some recent things going on in our lives, and so we figured, man, we're trying to get back to more, like I said, trying to be true to our podcasting ways and just get back into more
real life stuff.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's gonna be an interesting episode though. We're gonna talk about some recent tragedy in our lives. We're gonna talk about the poor kid that died here in Orlando on an amusement park ride. We're gonna talk about scientists discovering all new kinds of crazy things about death, and then some interesting facts that I bet you didn't know about death. Also, Will and Jada have been summoned to PodHeads Court. You've been served, and our litigators here are going to defend and prosecute. We're gonna rest this case. Yeah. So it's gonna be a good one.
Prosecution is going to win this one again.
So yeah, it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. So anyway, before we get into it, let's roll this wheel and see what we're smoking on.
Oh, let's go!
Destiny wheel. That's what this is.
Yes, sir. The wheel of destiny. If you don't know it, we leave what we smoke up to fate. And fate brought us a bong today.
Can never go wrong.
Bongs.
Can never go wrong with a bong.
No, that's a good title. Yeah. Don't steal that or we'll sue your ass.
Trademark.
Trademark. Poor man's trademark. I'm gonna mail that shit
Big
to
Ace,
myself.
as usual, we're getting it ready. Let's do this.
So Big Ace has got our little bong, our little alien bong from
Daily High Club.
Yes,
Daily High Club. Last week's episode. So you don't know what we're talking about.
As you can see, it's been used.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we're gonna use it some more.
And I'm glad it's used too. There is something to be said about a collection, especially of like smoking shit that isn't used, right? Like, just to show off or something. Like, what do you say? No, man, use it.
Oh, I got a bunch of pieces, but I use all of them.
I love it.
The problem is my girl gets mad because I use them without washing the ones that were already used.
Yeah.
So then, before you know it, there's 10 pieces on the table that need to be washed. Mm-hmm. And she's like, are you going to wash these?
Yeah, hygiene is important with that stuff.
Yeah. Clean your pipes, people. Clean your pipes. There are plenty of products out there. Or just go conventional, right? Salt and water. A little bit of salt or alcohol.
Alcohol and salt.
Alcohol and salt. I mean, really.
I like to use like the big salt. What is that stuff called?
Like rock salt?
Rock salt.
No, not necessarily rock salt. Sea salt, right? Coarse salt, sea salt. Yeah.
Okay, the big
stuff like that. Yeah, the thick stuff with some alcohol. Yeah.
That's the
idea. That 420 cleaner is legit, though.
The 420 cleaner is good. Let me tell you something. There's this stuff called kryptonite. This stuff's incredible.
I've seen it.
It's strong. Like, if you're not careful, it'll eat the paint off your piece.
Oh,
if it's
damn.
That's how strong it is.
It's for heavy duty.
But let me tell you
dirty
something.
Stuff.
You put that in your piece, you let it sit there for 30 minutes, and rinse it off. Stuff comes right out.
Wow, interesting.
Science,
good stuff,
chemistry, y'all.
Yeah,
but let's do this. Let's set this thing off.
Go ahead.
So Big Ace is going to go ahead and hit that bong there, and we're going to get right into it. So this week, it's been an interesting week, to say the least. A lot of death, and Big Ace, hopefully he doesn't die here, hitting this
death of his lungs
right here on the camera. But yeah,
it gives me life.
It's been an interesting week. I'll pass this over to Jay Bizzle. And it seems like we've been surrounded by death, so it only felt apropos to talk about it. We heard about the 14-year-old, right? It kind of started with that, right? It's like everything's cool. It's so weird because all 2020 and 2021 was all about celebrity deaths, right? Like every other day you'd hear about some celebrity death, especially 2020, right? And that's why we talked about how bad it sucked, right? Death to 2020, and of course we had COVID and all that stuff. And this year, I don't want to curse anybody, but I haven't, no celebrities or anything, but it seems like it's all been kind of close to home, right? Right here in Orlando, you've had this 14-year-old kid who was at Icon Park. And if you're not familiar with Icon Park, it is a place that is not, associated with Disney or Universal Studios, but it is like it's a tourist attraction in its own right. They've got shops and restaurants and a huge Ferris wheel. And
it's huge.
Yeah, if you Google it, you'll see it.
Aquarium, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got a bunch of touristy things. And I believe for $12, you can get on one of the largest free fall rides in this part of the country. Yeah, mm-hmm. I think at least. Mm-hmm. They said it was 430 feet tall.
Kiss my
ass.
Do it.
And it travels at a rate of 75 miles per hour. And anyway, everyone has heard about this. So we're not telling you the news. Poor young traveler from, I think, Texas. 14-year-old kid from St. Louis. 14-year-old football player was just big, right? 6'5", 300-something pounds or close to it.
360, I think it was 6'5",
huge,
360.
And the whole world got to see this guy get tossed off of a damn ride. We were talking about how the war in Ukraine and getting to see live. That's what 2022 seems to be about. Like live. Everything's caught on camera these days. Every single thing.
And now to watch
these terrible things. You mentioned a little girl on Instagram that got shot live on Instagram.
Shot her cousin in the head and then shot herself.
Yeah.
All playing with a gun.
Ridiculous.
Come on, man.
It's so everything's caught live. Yeah. And it's right. Kids are being desensitized. We're being overloaded with death, it seems like. But that poor kid. A new report came out just a few days ago saying that his cousin that was there with him, or a friend of his, because he was traveling, his parents weren't with him, but he was traveling with his football team. And I guess his cousin said that 2 other rides at Icon Park would not allow him to get on
because he was too big.
Because of his size.
They wouldn't let him get on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he wasn't going to get on this one. And then the guy told him, come on. Yeah, you can get on this one.
The worker of the elevator
of the Icon, of the free fall ride.
And I was reading a story where they did an interview with his dad. First of all, forget about something happening to your kid. But something happening to your kid when you're not even there. You let them go on a trip or something.
That's even worse.
How can you not hate them for some reason?
As the thing started going up, he didn't feel comfortable. That he told the friend sitting next to him that he was scared, that he felt something bad was going to happen. And he told him, tell my mom and dad I love them.
Word.
If something happens to me, tell my mom and dad I love them.
I mean, you can see the image on the screen. If you're listening, there's right on Facebook. I mean, this is crazy because you could see right on Facebook. This was live. I mean, this video was live everywhere. But we do have a still image because we weren't going to show the video. I think it's distasteful. But you can see in the image the kid before the ride goes up that the damn thing is not halfway closed.
Not even a halfway.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's even in the locked position.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have got on it. And they didn't have the seat belts that reinforce like they do at the other parks.
No. That was my biggest issue. Every roller coaster that I've ever seen has a seat belt as a backup fail safe. Like, how is this machine? Is there tests?
I don't know, bro. I'm sure there's a bare minimum that has to pass. But ultimately, it's tragic to see something like that.
Mm-hmm.
To see something like that, and to even, I couldn't even imagine, what that guy's parents must be going through, because like you said you send your kid out on vacation with other people and you expect that kid to be taken care of. How do you not blame the people? I know that you don't want to, but there's going to be a little animosity with the people that they were with.
Friends that they were with.
So it's crazy.
You got a comment. Elvin says, why didn't he get off?
Yeah, I mean,
he's already on there. He's on his way up. Is when he started freaking out. At this point, it was probably, I don't know, was it too late? Could he have yelled out and asked them to let him off? I don't know at this point.
He probably could have. I mean, for me, the guy that was working there was already negligent from jump.
He should have known better.
He should have known better. And me thinking that if the dude starts screaming, he's like, you'll be all right. Just like I've seen done.
Crazy.
Cool, see
sure.
So you guys didn't watch the video?
I refused to watch the video.
Yeah.
I saw it before and I saw after. I couldn't see.
I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't watch the news. I get my news from online. I scroll through my phone on, different websites. Sometimes it's Facebook. I didn't even know about what happened until friend of the show, Elliot Martinez, shout out to him. He just made a comment like, yo, y'all sharing this video, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to watch it. I refuse. And I started asking questions, and then I found out what it was. I refused to watch that video. First of all, dude, come on. You got a family of this young boy who has to see you think they want to relive this over and over and over again?
They probably figured it out through social media. I mean, it would not be surprising that they found out through social media. That's how fast these things are and how people were able to share it.
Yeah, it's just like, dude, have some respect though. How do you share something like that, man, with no sympathy for the family?
It's the word. You said it, 2022, desensitized. Like, this is what people do. This is the thing to do.
There's a little bit of morbid curiosity in all human beings. And me personally, I am one that can say that I have a little bit of that morbid curiosity of the macabre. I've always been fascinated by not only death, by the human biology, but death, what human beings can do to one another, and regardless of what it, I mean, it's just, call me crazy. Maybe I am a little crazy, but I can't help it.
It was just something about this particular instance that I said, no, I'm not.
Sure.
I'm out.
Anytime you're dealing with children, I mean, that morbid curiosity goes away.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Well, you put yourself in the position of the parent.
Exactly.
My son.
Exactly.
Well, that's
why this story.
That's
hits
what
home.
really got me, because you're seeing, and that's the kind of bigger issue that I wanted to talk about, was that Big Ace cannot say damn. He can't say boo on Facebook without getting arrested.
Mm-hmm.
My homeboy Paul out in Kentucky, he can't say shit without getting thrown, not arrested, but getting thrown in Facebook jail.
I live in that
And
bitch.
yeah, you got people out here who are sharing live videos of deaths of minors.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand how that person isn't removed, how that video, this particular post, like I said, all you have to do is click on the little eyeball to play the video. That's anybody, no age restriction, no nothing. Just a little warning that says, hey, there's some graphic content.
So that tells
here.
you Facebook saw it and deemed it just
and this particular post got over 4,000. It reached over 4,000. Well, got over 4,000 reactions. So it reached far more than that.
100 times.
And so it's just the hypocrisy and the whole online thing. That's an episode for another day, but still. It's sad. It
brings me to an idea, though. Why don't they do that shit with comments that they think may be offensive?
Yeah, I don't know.
This may be an offensive comment. Choose to look at it or not.
You're just trying to get out of Facebook
like me out of
jail.
Facebook jail.
Yeah.
I got 2 more days.
Yeah, I mean,
2 more days.
But the thing is, I'll be out and then I'll say hi to somebody and get thrown in for another 30.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
And you've seen the shit that I post. It's never anything crazy. It's just like,
all right, we're not here defending your
yeah.
Let's save it for another day. Jeez.
This whole story, it's just the negligence all the way around. I mean,
it's sad. It's sad in general.
Sad.
Dealing with death. I mean, some people might say that a freak accident like that was a freak accident. Other people, I would say it's negligence. It's sad. It's sad altogether.
If it was a kid, no offense. If it was a regular sized kid and that thing locked down properly or whatever, I'd say, you know what? Maybe it was a freak accident. But you clearly see that kid had no business being on that ride.
Yeah. He was denied twice over already.
My son is maybe a couple inches shorter than him and about the same size. I would get your ass off of there.
Bro, forget my kids are all skinny and short, and ain't none of them getting on no more of those rides. For me and everybody else that thinks like me, that park is probably done ski.
The whole fair idea of those type of machines has been ruined for me. Bro.
I don't get on those anymore. I rode a little rinky-dink Ferris wheel with my little one when he was like 4. That was the last. He's 10 now. Yeah, that was the last, or he's gonna be. That was the last time I've gotten on a carnival roller coaster because I do not trust. Dude, I was scared for my life. Bro, I rode the Velocicoaster twice on acid, and it was the time of my life.
Bingo.
I was scared out of my freaking mind on this little fair thing.
See, kids have
rusty.
Kids don't think that way. To them, it's fun.
No, he was excited. This 14-year-old kid, his cousin was saying that he was on the phone with her before and talking about how he was excited because he got turned away from every other ride, and somebody finally would let him
I know what
on.
that feels like.
So
that shit sucks.
Oh man, we've seen that too many stories.
But they might have saved your life.
But they exactly.
Hurt your
that's why I don't get mad at it. I get mad at myself for being so goddamn big.
It sucks.
It's like it's a safety thing. Because and again, talking about my son, this is what he does. He works at Universal, and his job is to make sure everyone is secure in their ride and in their seat.
Sure,
there are standards you got to follow.
And they're strict about it.
Strict.
And he's told me about it. They don't play.
They don't play.
Absolutely
That's why Disney and Universal are the ononly roller coasters I'm getting on because that fair life is done for me.
Yeah, carnivals. I don't do carnival rides at all.
Who's at fault? And and I do want to keep it moving because we have been at length on this particular subject. But who's at fault here? Is it because Icon Park does not own that ride? I forget the name of the company. It's like Free Fall Industry or something like that. Slingshot. I think they're called like Slingshot Corporation or something like that. But so I don't know, did Icon Park train these kids properly? Is it up to the company that owns the free fall to train them?
I would say them.
Yeah.
Whoever is the
directly responsible is the attendant, the guy who let that kid go on.
Teenager. You're putting your lives in the hands of another freaking teenager.
Who does he work for? That company specific is responsible for what happened.
That's
to
who
this kid.
I'd say was liable.
I also blame whoever didn't put seatbelts on this goddamn thing. Like, you got some fault there.
Well, that's
too.
definitely the company. That owns
Okay,
it, yeah.
boom, there you go.
Sue everybody.
Yeah,
Fucking
get your
court.
money.
Everybody's
You
gonna
know,
sue.
no amount of money's gonna bring that boy back.
No, but they
No.
deserve
But you
to
know
get
what?
paid.
If
Yeah.
it makes his family live a little bit easier, then I'm all for it.
Take it. Yeah, why not? Recently, recently here on the PodHeads, like I said, my freaking friend's dog died. A good friend of mine, their dog that I've known, friggin',
know the
that
dog.
dog's been around. I can't remember, friggin' 13 years, somewhere between 13 and 16 years. And I'm sorry because I have such a bad memory, but way longer than it probably should have. And my friend's dog died. I had a friend's grandmother died this past weekend, and then of course our uncle, Big Ace, and my uncle passed this past week too. And it just got me, kind of in this headspace where I was like, I just want to talk to you guys about this because, like, with the whole Icon Park thing, at least for in my uncle's case, and in many older people, older people's death, it's to be expected, right? When your grandparent dies, when someone sick dies, it's coming. But how do you guys deal with death in general? What broke my heart, knowing that my uncle had passed, I immediately feel bad. Big Ace, you gotta stop blowing your smoke in my face, bro. You're killing me. It's fucking killing me. I can smell that shit as I'm trying to talk. Sorry. Smokers etiquette. Where's did we not talk about this shit on the show?
10 Commandments.
Stop, bro. Stop. You roll the damn tape. This guy's a fucking terrible smoker. Don't deserve to be on the PodHeads. We have rules. We're gonna put the rules on. We're gonna put rules up.
You said I blew it in your face, which is
we're
impossible.
gonna have rules up. Anyway, keep it moving. The people who do shit wrong never do shit wrong. Anyway, so when you die, how do you guys deal with death in general?
In general, I think is the answer for me because I'm terrified of my next death that's scheduled, right? Because me personally have not dealt with death since my brother passed in like 96. I will say my grandmother recently passed, actually on my birthday, which is kind of sad. But I didn't have that type of relationship with her, so it doesn't hit as hard. I was
you feel more bad for your family that has lost.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just did not have that relationship with her. So I feel bad in that sense, but it's not the emotional impact that you expect when somebody close to you passes away. I have not dealt with that in 20 some years. Having a kid too, that question is consistently in my mind, like death, not morality, but your life. Like death could be like this. Like I want to get my daughter a goldfish, because it's gonna die soon. So I have something to teach. Because again, I have not dealt with death in 25 years. So I have no idea what's gonna happen. So
I feel I'm already kind of socially awkward. I find it hard to kind of keep polite conversation going and just like say things that are cliche. I feel like I'm too aware of just the bullshit that so many people say and just how fake so many things are that I just don't know what to say or what to do so many times. I deal with death strangely. I like to be alone when I deal with tragedy, I don't like to be around loved ones. I don't like to be touched or hugged or patted on the back. I just like to I process it best by myself. And as weird as that is, and I know that has probably hurt family and before in the past, because I probably haven't gone to things where I probably should have. Right. But it's just, we all grieve in different ways. Some people lash out, some people, go and blame the closest person they can, for anything that they possibly can. But I tell you now, just thinking about that, hearing my dad being so broken up about his losing his brother, I never really got to see my dad and my uncle hang out or see them two interact a whole lot. We were all kind of spread across multiple states. And so although I'm sure that they spoke on the phone and that they had a close bond and a relationship, I never experienced that, and so it didn't really impact me the way it did before. When I heard about him dying, I was like, damn, that's sad. I feel for my cousin who lost her father and all that stuff. And then, of course, I feel for my father. But when I called to check on my father, the gravity of it all really hit me. And it kind of broke my heart to hear my father with such a broken heart, and it really hit me like, geez, there's so much more. I felt small. I felt tiny because, you think about the world, you think about all the problems that you might have in a day and in your life. And you think, well, geez, there's 8 billion other people out there with problems and who are suffering. And,
even though you didn't have a relationship with your uncle like that, or you didn't know of their relationship like that, you obviously have a relationship with your father. So it was easy for you to get in his headspace, emotional, empathize, and feel really sad and bad. It doesn't knock you for not necessarily feeling that way about your uncle, because that's how I feel about, a lot of people that have, died around me or see other people doing that. So it's okay. It's fine. You know what I mean?
Sure.
For me, the big deal was I'm an emotional person by nature. I cry and all that other shit. It is what it is. I don't give a fuck. The biggest thing was I did have a somewhat of a relationship with my uncle. Maybe not more recently due to distance and whatever. But I remember as a little boy, my uncle was a mechanic, and I remember as a little boy when they were building his garage, his shop. Mm-hmm. I remember being a little kid and wanting to help and trying to carry a cinder block, and I couldn't, but watching my dad and his two brothers work together along with these other people, they built that, you know what I mean? And watching those things. So I see that. And the little bit of a relationship that I did have with my uncle, I had probably a closer relationship with my aunt, his wife. But I would, he's my uncle. I care about him, obviously.
Sure, yeah.
Probably not as close as I would have liked to be with him, but we did have our moments, So, I did the whole, I had my little crying, and seeing my dad was what really pushed me over the edge, because it puts me, I get emotional thinking about it. Mm-hmm.
It's all right, bro. Just smoke some weed. It's the weed. Weed makes you more empathetic.
But it is.
It does. Weed makes me emotional.
It's true. The weed does it.
Sometimes I find myself really baked watching something and getting all teary-eyed.
In the headspace of
can't watch Lion King all week.
Feeling his pain. But not only that, how I would feel if something happened to one of my brothers.
Exactly. That's where the relationship is, the connection.
Where, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what really got me as well. It's like the big thing that I thought about when this was all said. It's like, I'm 36 years old. I've got 3 kids, and I talk to them sometimes. I've told them very plainly, like, listen, one day I'm not gonna be here, and I want to make sure that you all are ready for that. You know what I mean? That's part of my job. But at the same time, at 36 years old, grown man, being a veteran of a foreign war and dealing with everything that I've dealt with growing up in the city, in the Bronx, and dealing with the shit that I've dealt with. And you guys know, I'm the same way. I'm not ready. I don't think that I am emotionally prepared today, and I don't know when I will be to lose any of my parents or my brothers. And sometimes I think about that. Sometimes I'll just catch myself in a moment of thought. I'll be working or I'll be mowing on my lawn or something, and I'll just think, or I'll read a story about someone's wife dying. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. Like, I hope to God that I die before my wife, because I will be so freaking lost. I will be so, what I mean? Like,
the older you get, time slows down for nobody. It keeps ticking and it becomes more real. Like, I'm right there with you. I have no idea what's going to happen with me. I have no idea how I'm going to relate. I don't know how I'm going to grieve. I have no idea. And that's kind of scary for me, especially the older I get.
Yeah.
And to your point, it's a great point. Now having a daughter, like, damn, I have to prepare for that true situation, man. Like, I have to prepare for the possibility and then the eventuality that I won't be here, whether that means like getting insurance, like life insurance.
I'm totally unprepared.
Oh my God.
You can't get hit by a bus tomorrow.
I was more like, I don't really think about it. I try not to think about it. You know what I mean? As far as
some people think
insurance and stuff like that.
You get emotional talking about that. And some people and some cultures believe that it's unhealthy not to prepare, not to face death. A lot of cultures believe that you have to face death. You accept death at an early age so that you can live, life to the fullest and not fear it. You know what I mean? And I hope that we can all get to that place eventually, or be ready. They say as you age, you become more and more accepting of the fact that you're going to die and welcome it, so to speak. But I mean, shit.
My fear of death always came from the thought of what happens afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know.
The nothingness or not.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And my thing was, do we just cease to exist? Do we really go to heaven? Things like that. And then how I learned to just really deal with it and it didn't bother me anymore was whatever happens, I can't do shit about it. It's too late now.
And you're not gonna be around to freaking know anyway.
Like if we just cease to exist, guess what? I ain't gonna know any better anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not, it is what it is.
That's a good segue actually into the story that you wanted to talk about, because you brought to my attention while we were talking about death, a story or multiple stories, right? An article you found about people who died, right?
Yeah.
And then were brought back and what they saw.
Yeah.
Or what they experienced, right?
Yeah, it says 14 people who came back from the dead reveal what happens when you die.
That's so crazy just to think about that. I personally know, shout out to Bagels and Shade. We haven't hollered at them people in a while, but V Banks from Bagels and Shade, cool people, great podcast. But she actually talked about this on her show. And we spoke about this as well, about an experience where she died, right? She literally died, lost a ridiculous amount of blood, and then was brought back. And I can't really remember what she said. I think she said that she didn't see anything. You know what I mean? But I've heard mixed stories. It's just crazy to have known somebody who, like, that's just a bugged out experience, to die and then be brought back. Like,
I mean, I guess the definition depends. What is death? Like brain,
flatline.
Flatline, exactly. So I don't know. I guess that is the closest person that I've known that ever said
I guess
that.
you can't call it dead, right? I guess you really can't call it dead unless there's a loss of brain function, right? A cessation of brains. I think you can code or flatline, but that doesn't mean that you are
right.
Okay, yeah.
That's how I see it. That's why I think these stories of life after death have some validity to it, because of the science.
They were halfway there.
They were halfway there.
Like
the
your heart
brain
stopped.
scans,
So what do you got?
Electrical that.
Yeah. So this first guy says it felt like a dream that didn't make sense.
Where's this story out of?
I found it on Wales Online.
Wales. Okay.
It's a publication from
Wales.
the UK.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
So he says it felt like a
smart ass whales, man. Those whales are so smart. Yeah.
He says it felt like a dream that didn't make sense, right? He says everything in the dream feels and looks bright and colorful and feels like it lasts hours. But when I came back, I had only been gone for 3 minutes.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. Like
Sounds
the
like
quantum realm and
Hey,
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he said he could not remember
Another
what
dimension,
the dream was about or
another
anything.
realm.
But all he knew was that none of it made sense and it was peaceful.
Wow.
Okay. I mean, I think that's kind of the story when you hear these, like, at peace, time goes, super fast or super slow, whatever it may be.
While reading about all this, I heard about the tunnel, the white light.
white
at the end.
tunnel,
I don't know if anybody talks about that in there.
I haven't gotten to it yet, if there is.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
This guy says it's like being asleep, but with no dreams, just darkness.
So that
But he's aware that he's asleep?
Yeah,
Like
he
he's
says-
conscious during that darkness?
Yeah, he says it was just nothing. I'd say that if anything, it was peaceful, but really it was just like going to sleep, but without dreams.
Okay, so wait, he wasn't like aware that he was just lying there unconscious.
Right.
It was like he closed his eyes, just like when you go to sleep, right? You close your eyes and you're not aware that you're asleep unless you have like a dream.
That's where I'm
But-
at. That's
Well, no, he
nothing to
says-
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I close
don't
my
know. He
eyes and then I
says-
wake up the next morning. And in
So-
between, there's nothing, which
Yeah,
means when
maybe.
you die, that's it. It's for an eternity of that.
Well, no, he says when I went under, there was only darkness. There was no pain. There was no sound. There was just darkness.
Okay. So maybe he is conscious. He's saying that he was conscious in
Seems
this
like he was
vastness
sitting in
of
the dark or
darkness.
something.
Oof, that's terrifying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
him particularly.
That's,
He's like,
that's gotta be crazy.
yeah, he
Yeah.
didn't do so well in life,
Yeah.
I think.
This other one is interesting. He says it was like flicking through a book.
Did it say how these guys die or anything like that?
Not all of them. Like one guy says he doesn't remember what happened when he went under. This guy says it was like flicking through a book.
Okay, so maybe reliving his memories.
He died after several minutes of bleeding out during major surgery.
Okay.
So you die if you don't have no blood.
Sure, right?
Yeah. He says he woke up in what looked like space, but there weren't any stars or light. I wasn't floating.
Darkness.
Right? I was just there.
So again,
I wasn't cold, hungry, tired, just peaceful. And he says, I remember thinking over my life, but it wasn't like a montage, more like I was idly flipping through a book and snippets.
So like memories, right? Like your life flashing before your eyes.
Sounds like a consciousness only. Like the consciousness just goes somewhere.
So there's some studies that they've been doing that say that DMT accurately depicts what happens for near-death experiences, because people don't know this, but whenever your body goes through the traumatic experience like that, your body can produce DMT itself.
I've heard this. Yeah.
And so it just produces a large amount of DMT to your brain, and then you have a fucking DMT trip, and then you come out of it, and then you're back to life.
Wow,
I can explain this one.
That's just a theory, but
I did hear. I did hear about how when your brain starts shutting down, it does so in pieces, right? It's not just boop, it's cut out. So certain parts of your brain start to lose function, and because of that, according to what I've read from some science articles while reading about all this stuff, and of course I don't have it in front of me, but I've read that it's that phenomenon or that
biological event,
causes a phenomenon of you seeing white, of you seeing like flashes of white or like a tunnel or something like that.
Okay, right. Your brain's shutting down, everything's kind of caving in a little bit. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe.
This guy was thrown from his motorcycle at 50 miles an hour.
Oof.
Was medically dead when he was taken to the hospital. He says that he just remembers being on the pavement and things slowly going black and quiet. He said, the only reason I didn't fall asleep was because of a bizarre moment where I heard someone yelling, Ranger up, you candy fuck. Come on, man. Get up. Get up. Get up.
Okay, so having another experience.
And he says someone was slapping his helmet. And when he opened his eyes, he saw his brother like squatting down on the pavement. But his brother had died over a year ago from an overdose.
Wakanda style, right? Going into another realm, communicating with your
So like
peoples.
his brother came and he says he heard him slapping on his helmet, tell him, get up.
Wow. I've heard that stories, right? Clairvoyance.
Now, could that be as a result, right? DMT or just the shock? Could that just be a hallucination?
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in science. And of course, when it comes to, I look at things like the afterlife, like I look at aliens and ghosts, right? I can't prove that they don't exist. So I'm not going to say that I don't believe they don't exist, but show me some kind of evidence and I'll believe it, right? That's why I'm such a big fan of science. I can point at science. I can hold science in my hand. I can say this is exactly what it is. So when I hear like these stories about what these people saw or what they experienced during death, it's weird to me because it's hard for me not to take it as subjective. Oh, they're like this should be able to be explained by, this or that. Like, I don't know. There's some that are common, like the DMT thing, like Cash was talking about. I've heard that that most people have this similar experience, right? And then yes, you can duplicate that with DMT. But all these other stories about how I saw God and St. Peter and my brother and all this and that, I just find it so hard to. I chalk those more up to as that dude was tripping balls while he was dying. He was losing blood. People when they lose blood, they get lightheaded. They tend to hallucinate. You know what I mean? I've seen people on morphine and shit like that hallucinating, and so I mean I don't know that one. I'm just saying I don't know.
Oh yeah, and that's why when he mentioned it, I was like, you know what, that might tie in here. This is another one. This will be the last one. He says he had an out of body experience. He says, I was legally dead for 3 minutes or so, I was told. I don't remember much, but when the EMTs came to my dorm, I remember them asking me all sorts of questions to keep me awake, and I just passed out. I do remember a little bit of the ambulance ride, but not from my own body. It was seriously the strangest thing I have ever experienced. It could have been a dream, but I saw my own unconscious body completely flatlined in the ambulance. I remember the EMT who was in the ambulance with me, whom I did not see before I passed out. I remember that he had mint green hair, and I couldn't remember his name, but I asked for him when I regained consciousness about 3 days later.
Wow.
5 minutes later, I get put on a stretcher and wheeled off in the ambulance. Yeah, so it's just crazy.
What did it say? How he died?
Let's
Drug
see.
overdose or something?
That's what it sounds like, right?
Dorm room. Yeah, I don't know.
So DMT, you can have astral projection.
I've heard of that.
There you go.
Say.
Which
Yeah,
that's
where
a
you
perfect example
out
of
of body
astral
experience.
projection.
Yeah. And I have read articles as well where they talk about people having an out of body experience and that being an actual thing like that they can pretty much explain by science. But if that was it, did you find out any more on that?
This last one.
Go ahead.
This guy said he kept cracking jokes.
Okay.
So he had a heart attack and his heart stopped 3 times in the emergency room. And apparently each time they shocked him, he woke up and told the staff a knock-knock joke, a different knock-knock joke each time. And then when he was flatlined and they would bring him back, another knock-knock joke.
Really? That's kind of funny.
Freaking
He
comedian.
says there was no lights or anything. It just felt like sleep.
Sounds like a bad SNL sketch.
Yeah,
Felt
right.
Yeah.
like sleep. That's, all these other stories think of me. What's the difference between that and a dream? I'm not belittling their experience, but all those things could be all dreams.
Could be, yeah.
You add a little bit of drugs in there, your dreams can be extra dreams. I've had some pretty vivid dreams. What do they call them? Vivid dreams? What are those super hyper realistic dreams? There's a term for that, and I can't think of it right now. Lucid dreams,
lucid
like
dreams.
you know what I mean. So how do you
know you're dreaming?
But you're dreaming. What's the difference between that? Okay, maybe okay. So this is a lucid dream that you can't control. That my point is, we just don't know.
Yeah.
It could be a dream. It could be silence. It could be darkness. We just don't know.
I don't know. I'm going to move it forward to the next thing because we were talking about the life flashing before your eyes. So scientists, right? Everybody talks the one commonality, right? We talk about many different people saying, well, I experienced this out of body. I experienced that. I saw a guy, I saw my brother, whatever. One thing that many people who have experienced death or at least near-death experiences, what they call NDEs, there's been a correlation between that and your life flashing before your eyes. I remember the old cartoons, you know what I mean? Talking about that kind of stuff. And it always being every TV show back in the 90s had a scene where somebody's life flashed before their eyes.
Baby, toddler, teenager,
Exactly.
The military, getting married, a baby.
Yeah, but scientists out of Vancouver actually found out that this actually is a possibility that this is true.
Yeah, check it out.
So a team of scientists set out to measure brainwaves of an 87-year-old epilepsy patient.
Okay.
Basically found out by mistake. During the neurological recording, he suffered a heart attack. And this offered an unexpected recording of his dying brain activity. And so what it revealed was that in the 30 seconds before and after the man's brainwaves followed the same. It revealed that 30 seconds before and after death, right? The man's brainwaves followed the same pattern as dreaming or recalling memories.
Okay.
Talk about dreaming, seeing
Recalling
things,
memories,
right?
yeah.
Recalling memories. Brain activity of this sort could suggest that a final recall of life, right? Flashing before your eyes may occur in a person's last moments. And that's what the team wrote in their published study in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience.
And Big Ace mentioned time in one of your stories, like it could have been hours and really it was only 5 minutes. That makes sense. Literally, his going through his whole life, flashing before your eyes in seconds, in 30 seconds before death and whatnot. So, I dig it, and it adds validity to the story because it wasn't planned, right? The patient didn't go in there. I want to say planning to die, but you know what I mean? Like it's a true base. Nobody, manipulated that person's brain. Didn't give that person thoughts. Hey, get ready to die. You understand? So the data coming from those scans are legitimate. These parts of the brain have lit up before and after, which correlates to memory, and so I love it.
They said that they recorded for over 30 seconds, the brain continued to show signs after the heart stopped beating. So, I mean, and, you know, neurologically or physiologically, you need the heart to beat to carry oxygenated blood to the brain for everything to keep going. But they say you can be pretty much brain dead. You could like go without oxygen for a few minutes, right? Before, at least for a minute or so before you like have long-term damage or at least die. But I just thought it was interesting that for 30 seconds that this thing is flipping, you know, this thing is firing off, especially in this one part of the brain. Now, of course, this is one study, right? They don't do studies like this. So maybe now this might open the doors to doing more study about death. Maybe we can help to, you know, accept it a little bit more.
Yeah, you said it earlier in the show, like, especially in this country about death, we mourn, right? I hear other stories of countries literally partying it up on a person's death, and they're prepared for this. Like,
celebration of life.
They prepared for this. Here, we shun it. Our old people.
Yeah, we run from it. Yeah, we try to,
until it's end, and then we all get dressed in black, super sad, right? We talk about how we deal with that stuff. We deal in so many crazy different ways. So again, in this society, we should probably
when I go, everybody just need to smoke some weed and have a good time.
That's where I'm.
Roll me up and smoke me.
Yeah.
You know what I would hate to freaking learn though? You ever lie? There's always these memes, and this happens to me all the time, where you're lying in bed at night and you just think about something embarrassing that happened when you were 12 years old, or something that someone told you when you were 16 that you just, man, I should have said this, or I should have did that. I would hate for those to be my last memories while I'm freaking dying. You know, there's no way to tell really what they are, but who knows?
No, they're core. You go through core memories. I'm certain of it. From opening a Nintendo 64 to that moment, that's a core memory in your brain, and
opening
it's going
Nintendo
to
64. I
love that.
I remember,
Zelda getting Zelda. Oh man, Donkey Kong beating Donkey Kong. Bro, it was like an epic moment for me. I remember screaming, "Oh my god!" And now, and speaking of death, it was. I guess I got to tell the story. I beat that game while my mom was grieving from my brother.
Wow.
So I go, and of course she comes running, heart racing, thinking something is wrong. And what do? I beat it. I beat the game. I beat the game, Mom. And she
wanted to beat your ass.
Oh, bro.
And then to make things worse, if you know Donkey Kong, it's the end ? Fucking the bad guy comes back at the end, so I didn't really beat it. I fucking got my ass kicked like a few more times over.
Poor.
Yeah, my mom, man. Core memory right there. I wish I didn't do that. I was like 10.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You'll be thinking about that on your deathbed.
I know.
Yeah.
I will be thinking about it.
You broke your mother's heart.
Oh, man. Poor Mrs. JB. JB. All right, let's do this chord thing, because these guys, we're going long today, but these guys, we got some saucy. So, all right, so basically everybody saw it, right? We'll just get the damn.
Listen, if you haven't seen it, YouTube it. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's on YouTube if you haven't seen it, but you heard about it. The Oscars, right? Chris Rock made a G.I. Jane joke about Jada Pinkett Smith and her short hair, who suffers from alopecia, who now all of a sudden it's a movement. Nobody cares about bald people.
Slow down, Judge.
Nobody cares about bald people. Now all of a sudden, because two freaking famous people went bald, now everybody cares. Anyway, sorry. Anyway,
JB's about to object.
So what I'll say is this. Will Smith, right? Everybody saw it. Will Smith slapped the shit out of Chris Rock after he made a G.I. Jane joke. And the argument here is, did Chris Rock go too far? Or did Will Smith go too far, right? Is Will Smith justified in defending his wife's honor? Or was he completely out of line?
Save it for my arguments,
Who's
Judge.
The asshole?
Play the intro.
Get my shit ready. Go ahead, play that intro. About out.
Not your intro.
Hey,
you go first, so I get my way. Do not fuck.
Alopecia. I'm in robe.
Appalachian.
I got my robe on backwards, folks.
Nice.
But it's all good.
Nice.
Hey,
the court's in session.
We're high.
Damn
We're
it.
smoking.
Yeah. No, listen, you only had, if you're Miss Universe, you've only had 30 seconds to get wardrobe change.
I would be screwed if I was Miss Universe.
Yeah, not too bad. You got your hair did.
It's
You
all
got your
good.
next dress on.
Thank you. I appreciate you. All right. Court's in session, folks. The Honorable Frank the Tank, the Honorable Jimmy Puffett.
Yes, Mike, it was funny.
We are here to decide on whether the court of public opinion, right? The court of public opinion, not who's guilty or who's innocent, but who, in this case, is a dick. Mm-hmm. And who we're going to judge, right? That's what we do here on the PodHeads. We judge people. All right. Big Ace, who are you defending in this case?
I am the prosecution against Will Smith.
Against Will Smith.
I am on Chris Rock's side. I will make my arguments, and I will prove to the court that Will Smith is guilty of assault and being a bitch.
Okay, all right.
Oh, he's your lawyer.
And JB, you're, I guess, arguing against Chris Rock.
Yeah, more in the defense of Will Smith here. Listen, ladies, the man was there for all of you, defending all your honor. So we'll get there. I hope.
Oh God! Just trying to fix this damn road. Fucking arm is caught in the damn thing. It's annoying as shit. All right, now we're good. Now we're good. Pressed, feathered.
By the way, the G.I. Jane Joan was funny.
Right, it was funny.
I thought it was funny. The funny thing is, Will Smith laughed himself at it. But listen, I won't steal anybody's thunder. Make your arguments. I will open things up.
Big
Ace.
Before I start my opening arguments, no, you know what? I'm going to save my evidence, my exhibit for later.
Oh, God.
Let me start by saying it's never okay to put your hands on somebody. But I understand. I will never fault a man for defending his wife or the woman he loves.
Check.
My problem isn't that he defended his wife. It's the way in which he chose to go about it. He went about it in a childish manner. You are worth $300 million. You are a man and a professional. You are a professional and you are on the largest stage for your profession. And you acted like a child. The man, Chris Rock, is a comedian, one of the best there's ever been. Comedian's job is to make light of the things that are happening. The comedian's job is to make light of these things and to make jokes. Chris Rock said afterwards that he had no idea that Jada Pinkett Smith had alopecia. He thought she was rocking the bald head like her daughter had done before. He thought it was a fashion statement. He made a joke about it. Will Smith smiled. He laughed at the joke. And it wasn't until Jada gave him the funky eye that he went ahead and acted like a big baby. Okay? He walked up on that stage and he slapped that man. First of all, that's assault. That's assault, my brother. Okay? We know this. Had that been anyone else? Huh. But listen, I digress.
If it was anybody.
You assaulted the man. You embarrassed him. Okay, and if you ask me, would he have done the same if it was someone else? Chris Rock is the most mild-mannered, goofy, non-threatening person in all of Hollywood. No one ever thinks of Chris Rock as being a tough guy or a mean-spirited person. Okay? I feel like Will Smith took advantage of a situation and said, I get away with smacking the shit out of this guy. He ain't going to do nothing. But if you watch the video, the Brooklyn almost came right out of Chris Rock for a second there. Because he looked like he was going to do something. He stopped. He laughed. He even said, boy, you know what? And he kept it going. Mm-hmm. I commend him for that. He acted like an adult. I want you to go ahead and play my exhibit, though. Because even if he knew about the alopecia, listen to this.
Okay, this is actually a funny commercial and not a creepy one.
Oh, there you go. Hey, check this out. Here's the situation. Say you out with your boyfriend, your girlfriend. You know, you're at school, you at a club or something, getting busy. You're just having fun. Somebody steps up to you and they tell you they want to rumble. All right, now just stop for a second. Before you lose your head, get all crazy, toss your hands up. Just think. The person that uses their head can always defeat the person that's just trying to use their hands. Now remember that. Because the more you know.
So
That's number one.
So Will Smith doing
other
The
thing
More You
there?
Know.
Is the other video on there?
I don't see it. I don't.
Okay, so we're slacking here.
All right, time.
No.
We need to. We do need
Listen,
to move this along, though, sir. We do need
Well,
to move
my
this
other
along.
exhibit is a video in which, you know what, I'll play it for y'all right here. I play my exhibit because it is pertinent to the case. And here we go.
Liar? That was it?
No.
He just snorted. He's the only one in his joke over there, guys.
Jeez, Big Ace.
Come on, let's go.
Wait a damn.
Video.
This
I
guy.
had to learn to get the courage to just go, nah, I'm not doing that. Which is why I feel the freedom today. I don't give two craps what people feel about this bald head of mine. Because guess
Okay,
what?
well, it's Will Smith.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Will
So
Smith.
if you don't give two craps what people feel about the bald head of yours, why the hell did Chris Rock have to get the shit slapped out of him?
Okay, well,
But
Okay,
you know what?
but you're
I'm
talking
gonna-
about yeah.
And my closing arguments is I'm going to say this. Regardless of defending your wife or whatever, the bigger picture is what is the biggest thing for me. For years, we've been bitching and moaning about Oscars so white, about black people not getting representation in the Oscars, right? And here you are, the favorite, the odds-on favorite to win Best Actor, and you pull this bullshit. So now, what you've done was allowed those people that didn't want y'all there in the first place to sit back and say, see, I told you. I told you we can't have these guys around because look what they do.
set him back, man.
So, and Will Smith's been on his best behavior for over 25 years in Hollywood.
Right.
But you know what? Guess what? He won Best Actor. Does anyone give a shit about that? All we hearing about is the slap.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
So you just overshadowed your crowning achievement.
Yeah.
The crowning achievement of your career, you shit all over it because you wanted to be a tough guy. Fuck you, Will Smith.
Oh boy, Will Smith, I love you, brother. This one's tough. Let me just do a little cross-examination on my part. I believe the last court we had, we talked about Masvidal and defending his fucking honor, and you gotta do what you gotta fucking do, man.
I never
no
said
matter
that.
who you. You said that it is
No,
the
no.
rules. It's the. Can I cross the fence?
Hold
Can
on,
I cross?
hold on.
Can I cross?
I didn't say that he was right for doing it or that he was supposed to do it. I said I understood because that's where he comes from. That's the type of person that he is.
Okay, well, you just shattered on Will Smith for committing assault, for doing this. Well, isn't that where he came from? Maybe in where he comes from. That's
Where he
why
come
you
from now?
defend.
Where you ever see him do that shit?
West Philadelphia.
He's
I
the
mean-
softest motherfucker to ever come out of Philadelphia.
Okay, again, Judge, hearsay, fucking, I don't
All right,
know,
go ahead.
something. I'll say that. I'll say that. You can't pick and choose, right? Shit, where am I gonna go? Do you
not a
remember
good
when we all hated on Donald Trump for making fun of the disabled people?
Yeah.
You remember, everybody knows
Yeah,
what I'm talking
yeah.
about, and everybody shat on Donald Trump. You know,
Did anybody go slap him?
no, okay, but my point, my point
wish.
is, in the moment, Will Smith felt that Chris Rock was making fun of a autoimmune disease. I believe it's an autoimmune disease, right? Yeah. Do comedians make jokes on AIDS? Do they do that? Do they?
Yes.
Is it? Do they? Okay, I'll say I haven't heard one in a while.
Yes.
They're always making jokes on. I mean, hello,
yeah.
this guy. Not
it cool
necessarily
though?
AIDS, but Dave Chappelle just made all these jokes, about the LGBTQ
He made a joke
and,
about
and,
AIDS.
I
and
guess
he
I'm
has
talking
made joke
the
about AIDS.
autoimmune disease.
Like everybody makes
specifically.
jokes about that kind of stuff. They weren't at a roast, but yeah.
Okay, exactly.
I
And
think the
that's-
point you're trying to make is that when it comes to comedy, everything is
yes. Okay. Again, you said it. They weren't at the roast. They weren't at an Oscars. Will Smith felt that he had to stand up for him and his. Granted, the second part of my defense for Will Smith is Jada herself. I mean, let's be truly honest. If Red Table Talk didn't come out, if all that August Alsina debacle didn't come out 2 years ago, this would have never, ever have happened. Granted, I understand that my client and his wife have an open relationship, that may not have been the same situation, right? Will Smith didn't go up to August Alsina and slap him, right? I mean, he just banged your wife. Why wouldn't you? It's not the same situation, right? The story is that it was an open relationship, that he knew about it, that they slept over, whatever. In this situation, okay, for the last 2 years, that's what everybody's been talking about. 50 Cent, comedians left and right. He has literally been getting clowned for the last 2 years. Literally getting clowned.
And he ain't slapped none of them niggas.
Okay, all right. I agree that Will Smith took advantage of who was up there, that he would not have done it if another bigger, stronger, whatever you want to call it, comedian was up there. But it was the straw that broke the camel's back. And literally, it was a straw. It was a funny joke. And he didn't know about it. So I'll give you that.
Badass.
Does this
it
have
was
any
the straw, and it broke him, and he felt like he had to defend his honor.
Does this weigh anything to either of you guys? I saw this. I thought this was interesting. The actress that basically the person who played G.I. Jane cheated on her husband with the dude that from the 70s show who was much younger.
Her and Bruce Willis were divorced.
I don't know if that's true or not. So people are making all kinds of connections.
No.
So but you're putting this on Jada. This is not on Chris Rock. Is that your point here?
The fact that I know now as a defense attorney, right, that Chris Rock did not know of her medical condition, I can't use that as a defense because it is what it is. I can't use it as a defense. So all I got left,
exactly. Put Mike's comment up there.
All I got left is Jada. Jada is a little bit toxic. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it out there. She without what movie was it? Woo, was it right? Woo or whatever.
Woo, yeah.
Ever since that in The Matrix, right? Where has Jada been?
Guys, put that comment
nowhere. So she creates the Red Table Talk and starts putting all her dirty laundry. You think Will Smith wanted his dirty laundry put out like that? And I say dirty because people do that kind of stuff, but look at the results of all this after that kind of information came out. Look at what just happened at the Oscars. It was because of Jada and her, dare I say it, attention? Yeah, narcissism, like me, I need more. I stand by Will Smith.
He still carried out the action. If somebody, listen, if your wife pays somebody to murder you, right? Your wife is just as guilty as you are. Just because she paid the guy to murder you doesn't mean that he gets off for murder.
Man.
So she made it give him.
Well, that's not exactly the same thing because she did not. Yeah, she did not.
I say she
tell him to do anything.
She gave him that look. He was laughing until she gave him the look.
People laugh reactively.
Here's the look that I think she gave.
It took a second.
I'm gonna rule on this because we are running long today. The look that I believe Jada Pinkett Smith gave Will Smith was not go get him. It was, how the hell are you sitting here laughing at me about this damn thing? Mm-hmm. Because he was laughing and clapping to the joke. And I think that what he did was
to deflect off him laughing,
was like, oh shit, I better show out so I don't get in trouble. But I don't know. That's just me personal. I have heard your guys' arguments. Last thing, go ahead.
This is not part of the argument, but my question is: did he get a pass because he's Will Smith?
And yes.
I mean, you saw
what I'm saying is, did he get a pass because he's Will Smith and because it was Chris Rock? If he had gone up there and slapped Jerry Seinfeld, would they let him go sit back down?
So yes, that. And yes, he got away with it because he's Will Smith. You understand? So yes to both answers.
Had this been fucking Ja Rule up there and 50 Cent walked up and slapped him,
so
would they allowed him to go sit back down?
No,
he gets a pass because he's Will Smith.
Because he's Will Smith and rich. Will Smith is the left Hollywood. Like he does documentaries for animals. He travels the world. He cooks, he cleans, live free. Look at me and my wife, free love. Look at my kids. I don't give them any rules, whatever they do, whatever. He's the leftist black guy. So yes, they sat him down, gave him a round of applause, and gave him an Oscar. Yeah, he got away with it.
He got up there and cried. Yeah. He got up there and cried.
Yeah.
and everybody felt bad for him.
Yeah. This is Jada's fault.
Yeah,
I'll say it again.
Fuck out of here.
All right, I'm ready to rule. I'll say this: you guys both make very compelling arguments, very much so. I don't condone that kind of violence, and I would say that by nature, I probably lean on have more violent tendencies. However, I think that as enlightened creatures, especially when you're a freaking millionaire and you've done all these roles and you are so left and enlightened and all this stuff, and you just did it the more you know freaking video like 20 years ago, whatever. I think Will Smith should absolutely have not put his hands on anybody. I don't think anybody should have walked up and done that. I didn't even like when Nicki Minaj stepped to Miley Cyrus at the, I think, MTV Awards or something like that.
When Kanye went up there, it made me cringe, bro.
Yeah, because it's just like, you're really putting that other person in an awkward spot. What the hell are they supposed to do? I don't think that anybody gave a damn about Chris Rock or his family. How is everybody still talking about Will Smith? How does nobody care about what do you think Chris Rock's kids and his wife felt like watching their dad, their husband, or his parents, their son,
straight disrespected,
getting slapped on one of the biggest nights of his life? I'm pretty sure he's hosted the Oscars before, but it's a big deal. So you're getting slapped in front of millions. So I think it was foul on his part. However, I do agree with the argument that this is a buildup. This is Jada Pinkett Smith putting their relationship on social media. This is Jada Pinkett Smith making this man cry, turning Will Smith into a meme by putting there Will Smith.
Feel good.
Everybody has known that Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith has had this open relationship, this free love relationship. But guess what? Have anybody at this table, at this purple table talk, have anybody at this table ever heard about Will Smith with another woman?
No, I'm sure he has been.
But guess what?
He was discreet about it, and he messed with bitches that knew how to keep their mouth shut.
Respectful, exactly. She dragged this man's name through the mud. He kept a smile on his face through the whole time, supported her, had her back, and I think it was just a buildup. 50 Cent. Right? Other actors, I can't remember half of them, but everybody's been giving Will Smith shit for 2 years. And then all of a sudden, Chris Rock says one joke. And then I think it was a combination. It was an opportunity. He was trying to save face. He felt like he could get away with it. So many things were wrong in this situation. But if I got to rule on one side, I think that I've got to rule against Will Smith. Will Smith is in control here. He's a grown-ass man. And regardless of who's truly at fault, and I really do blame Jada here, and I have a bone to pick with the Academy. I don't like the Oscars as it is because of how I felt about, the way they treat people of color and all that stuff. But I think Chris Rock should sue the Academy. I think that they failed to protect an employee this night. I think the fact that they didn't kick Will Smith out and that they gave him a freaking award after, sat there and let him, cry up on stage, play the victim, I think was absolutely uncalled for. If I was Chris Rock, I'd have been like, if I was Chris Rock, I would be absolutely sick to my stomach with the Academy, and I would want to have nothing to do with them. That being said, again, Will Smith, guilty. You're a douchebag.
Yeah.
If it was The Rock, like Stephen A. and other people said, if it was The Rock and not Chris Rock, he wouldn't have smacked.
He wouldn't have said. He'd have sat in his damn seat and told Jada to calm the fuck down.
Yeah. It was a buildup. Again, you know, he was in the front row of the Oscars. The cameras were on
you don't sit at the front row when you know there's going to be a comedian on stage if you don't want nobody to say no shit about you.
Exactly.
Everybody knows the rules.
Yeah, I mean, come on. It was a lighthearted joke. It was,
it was nothing
at the very least. And you're gonna just because your wife said in 2016 that she got alopecia and supposedly accepted it or whatever, like doesn't make her off limits. Like I said,
and then they talk
this was a culmination of a lot of things.
And then they're trying to make it seem like, well, he's made a joke about them before. He made a joke at the Oscars in 2016. Because Will Smith was boycotting the Oscars.
Yeah.
And Jada Pinkett said, well, I'm boycotting the Oscars too. And his joke was, Jada Pinkett boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. You ain't invited.
Yeah,
You weren't invited.
So there is a little bit of history there. A little bit of history.
And it was funny.
It's a cult. Again, it's a culmination of a lot of things.
Culmination?
Culmination. Yeah, it's a lot of things. This is a long time. I think Will Smith has been rolling around with this
smoke
angst.
a victory bowl here.
I think Will Smith has been rolling around with this angst, with this hatred, this burning fire in his freaking belly for over 2 years. He's been embarrassed. He's felt abused.
Yeah.
He's felt like a cuckold. You know what I mean? He cuckolded. He's he's Andy. He's the black Andy from The Office. And let me tell you, and I think what happened is just, opportunity met.
Yeah.
It was the perfect storm. He had felt this way for a long time, and it was finally he felt that this is an outlet where I can shut everybody up right now.
I can do this.
I can end this. I can make sure nobody else says another damn thing about me, and Chris Rock ain't gonna do nothing about it.
Exactly.
If his career wouldn't have been over for being a wife beater, he probably would have whooped her ass a long time ago, and none of this shit would have ever happened.
No.
I'm not saying I condone hitting a
About
woman.
to get canceled. We're about to get canceled on Facebook.
I would never say that.
We'll see you in 30 days, folks. We're about to get thrown in Facebook jail because Big
But
Ace.
just because it's not right to do it, don't mean you don't got it coming sometimes.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, this is why you try to keep your shit private. I mean,
man, come on.
So that's it. That we ruled. Let's move forward. We got to get out of here. I do want to bust
it.
through these facts. I didn't want to take a little longer on it, but I did have some interesting facts that I thought just kind of blew my mind about death, right?
Okay.
Let's see what you guys think. Approximately 150,000 people die every day around the world.
How many?
150,000 people.
That's
Yeah,
actually
makes
not
sense.
That's
that
less than I
many.
thought.
Yes,
Less than I thought. But
yes.
But over twice as many people are born.
Whoa.
Every day.
That
So
means
population
population's
issues.
going like this, guys.
Yeah.
No bueno.
That's why we're trying to take
Where's
off to
Thanos?
Mars. New York City, more people commit suicide than are murdered.
Wow, that's a crazy stat.
Another, right?
Suicide other than murder.
Isn't that nuts, right?
That is crazy.
that is.
I thought, it's like one of the, maybe in the 90s, it was like 80s, 90s murder capital.
But New York still has that vibe of crime, right? Of drugs.
Yeah, you're not thinking like if 100 people are dying a day out there, you're not thinking that 80 of them or 75 of them are.
A building? Like, what are you guys doing out there?
Yeah,
Life,
that's crazy.
New York, it's tough out there.
Yeah, it is tough.
New York.
Compared to right-handers, left-handers die at least 3 years earlier on average.
It used to be 7. It used
Isn't
to be
that crazy?
7. But the world's built around right-handed people.
That's it. So they maybe have more
They have
accidents.
accidents,
They're
yeah,
not as smooth doing things. That's it. That's exactly
that crazy?
what it is.
For right-handed people.
Good call.
There's one that kind of blew my mind. Sharks kill about 12 people a year. Okay. People kill about 11,417 sharks per hour.
What? What? No, come on. Wow.
Yeah,
Isn't that
I didn't see
crazy?
that one coming.
Around the world, right?
That makes
I didn't
me
see
sad.
that
I did not either. It's
Per
overfishing, pot pollution. I mean, name it, man. That's sad.
That's nuts. During World War II, about 80% of all Soviet males who were born in 1923 died. And we talked about this on earlier episodes. I just thought it was relevant because of the whole Ukraine-Russia thing. But think about that. Of all the people born in the Soviet Union, now this is, remember, Soviet Union. This isn't just Russia.
The whole everything.
Over 80% of all the males born in 1923. That's insane.
All the males.
That's a
in
lot
year.
of people.
Like, you skipped a year. Like that's
Hey,
like a generation.
Those
dude.
other
Like,
20% were killing the game.
Oh my God, right? Anybody that survived the war were
all the
freaking
pussy.
no choice, baby.
Damn.
Hey, ain't no competition, sweetheart.
That's
'Cause,
true.
hey, all the fit ones died in the war. The only ones,
Damn. Talk
It's a
about
great
that.
the only
strategy.
ones that didn't die were the
When times get tough, just go completely out of shape. Let
I'm
yourself
not being
go.
insensitive here, guys.
Oh,
I'm
that's
just
funny.
being funny.
Oh, we need some funny in this episode. Okay, so there's over 200 bodies on Mount Everest.
That I knew.
They're so well preserved by the cold that people still use them as markers.
Yeah, green
like-
boots.
Yeah.
Google green boots.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Lil A says it's a good thing you can use both hands.
Yeah.
Well, because he's more left dominant, but he's
He's
ambidextrous.
ambidextrous. Okay,
Nice.
shout out to the
Yeah, that's
booties
cool.
over there. Lucky fucks.
Yeah.
Imagine, throwing baseball, hitting lefty, righty. I mean, that's a big
Oh, that's
deal
cool.
in
Yeah, when you
sports.
can hit
Yeah.
for average at least on both
For
sides.
average,
That's badass.
exactly.
Yeah. All right. What
I
about
can't
this
do
one?
Nothing with my left hand.
The United States has more than 5 times the number of gun deaths than all of Western Europe nations.
Yeah,
I
guns are
believe that
illegal. Guns are illegal
100%.
out
I'm
there.
not surprised at all.
I mean,
yeah, the numbers match the
the
data.
numbers don't lie. We talk about it. We won't go there. It's not
We
that
won't.
episode,
No,
but
no.
come on. All right. How about this? The idea that graves need to be 6 feet deep actually came from a 1665 plague outbreak in England, when the mayor of London decreed the burial depth to limit the spread of disease. So it was never anything.
So
it was not a religious
they're
thing.
deep
It was not.
Deep enough, nothing comes back.
yeah.
I thought it was an animal related. It was too far down so that scavengers
Scavengers can
couldn't get
dig and stuff.
So
Yeah.
it might be related to that too.
Maybe,
so.
right? Scavengers could get to them and then spread it, right?
Mhm.
Not to steer you off topic, but what did you guys want to do with your bodies? Because I wonder about myself, like if formaldehyde prevents you from moving on to the afterlife or something like that.
Oh,
Because your
Like being
body-
preserved?
because your body doesn't decompose anymore.
that's a good point.
Interesting.
That's actually a good question to my next thing. Because I do want to ask you guys that. But today, there are about 300 bodies frozen in liquid nitrogen in America in hope that science will one day be able to bring them back. But contrary to popular
People with
belief,
too much
Walt
money.
Disney is not one
No.
of them.
He's not.
Bullshit.
Bro, it's a myth. That
What?
always
happened
been a
years
myth.
ago.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Where have
Dude's
you been?
dying of cancer, and he's got his body iced up.
Where have
I
you
don't
been,
believe it.
JB? That shit came out years ago.
I've been
That
in
it's not true.
1998.
He's buried
recently.
under the castle
Really,
in an
that
ice cube.
sucks.
And
But there
a
are
cryogenic-
people out there waiting to be
There it
cure
is.
for diseases.
It's not gonna work.
Yeah,
It
I
sure
don't know.
will. Sure it will. When they find a cure for this particular disease and reverse cryogenics,
Yeah, exactly.
There's
They don't even know
frogs.
how to bring you back yet.
But there's animals that can survive that process, that pretty
There
much
are
freeze
animals that
themselves.
can,
people
So,
are working on
yeah,
it.
study.
It will
Keep studying.
get solved. That
Scientists
problem
will
get
figure
solved.
this out, yeah.
Exactly.
Either that or it'll turn into like some weird Spider-Man villain thing.
Zombies.
How about this? Hearing is the last sense to go as a person is dying.
Hearing. Wow.
So, yeah. As you're
that is
dying.
not expected. By the way, quick stat or something like that. Back when we were doing guillotine deaths back in the day, a doctor told one of the people dying, when you get your head cut off, keep blinking your eyes at me so I know how long your head stays alive. And it was recorded that he blinked several times. So
yeah,
there
it's
is
about somewhere between 15 and
there
30
you go.
seconds. Yeah.
There you go. So imagine that. Your head
Isn't
rolling
that
around.
insane,
and you're like,
bro?
oh my God.
Yeah.
This
And your
sucks.
experience. My thing is, who has the presence of mind after having your head chopped off?
Well, I mean, you're helping.
I'm
the
not worried
dude.
about that.
I
Fuck
do
that
believe it was a
doctor.
prison.
I'm not worried about that shit.
this guy over here.
That's
Help
crazy.
science, man.
Listen, if I just had my head chopped off, the last thing I'm worried about is helping a fucking doctor's experiment.
Are you an organ donor? I'm taking your organs, man.
And, there's a freaking there's a documentary on Netflix called Body Snatchers in New York, all about that. Crazy. You should watch it. It's nuts. Anyway,
Black market kidneys and shit.
yeah, I think I'm gonna take my name off the organ donor list.
Really?
Honestly,
Oh,
after that
asshole.
shit.
See, there's always somebody.
The brain can continue to function for several hours after physical death. The brain can continue sending and receiving signals even though there's been a registered physical or clinical death to the body.
Okay,
So like you
so
said,
there's
even
some
after your head's
time
cut
there.
off. And the last one before we go, because we got to run. I just thought this was trippy. The Turritopsis dornell, also known as the immortal jellyfish, is a species of small, biologically immortal jellyfish. There's very few animals in the world like this, and I think they're all jellyfish. And I think there's only 2 other kinds, but basically, it is one of the few known cases of animals capable of reverting completely to a sexually immature colonial stage after having reached sexual maturity.
What? Goes back in time. This
So,
thing.
Yeah, we spoke, I think, on another episode. Or maybe we just talked about this, but jellyfish have not jellyfish, octopuses have such a short lifespan because it's not octopi, it's octopuses. Shawnee has corrected me many times on that.
Octopi.
But yeah, so these octopuses, once they it's like they only live between 2 and 5 years long, even though they're some of the smartest beings on the planet. And it's because once they have their eggs, they experience senescence, and every living creature on this world and on this planet experiences senescence. That's what happens to us. There's no such thing as dying of old age. What happens is that you die from complications of being old as fuck. Your
Shit
immune
gives out.
system cannot fight disease anymore. Your brain is deteriorating over the years of abuse and genetic issues and stuff like that. But you don't just die of old age.
Right.
It's called senescence. So things start failing. Well, these freaking jellyfish, they're also called medusa, I think. But the immortal jellyfish, Google that shit. They basically, once they become sexually mature and basically create offspring, they revert back to where they were, their little hatchlings, back to birth.
That's
and
wild.
continue. So as far as they know, they don't die.
And they just keep on. I mean, obviously they die because of many different factors.
Oh, they get
but-
eaten,
Exactly.
but they don't die naturally. They die. They get eaten. They get
there's
caught.
the
in
answer,
stuff,
Big
yeah.
Ace. Like there are people studying this.
Jeff
freaking
Bezos and
jellyfish.
Google, Altos Labs. Look that up.
Altos has. Yeah, we
They
talked
are
about that.
they are
on this show.
researching all this kind of
So
stuff.
there you go. There's a biological animal on this planet who can basically defy death. Someone's trying to take that answer from those jellyfish to reverse death in humans. It's happening. It's going to
Just
happen.
makes you wonder. Everybody says
careful.
all things die, right?
I don't know,
But
man.
now death
Maybe not.
isn't certain. Yeah,
Maybe.
Well, I mean,
Science!
technically,
Money, though.
but okay.
Watch.
I love science.
What do you want to happen when you die?
You know what? I want to be cremated, and I want to be left with. Hopefully, again, I die first. I want to be left with either my wife or my kid, mainly because I think it's pointless for people to go to a grave and just like leave stuff there. Nobody wants to do that anyway. You got to take the time out to go and just stand there. Then you don't know how long you're supposed to be there for. Go talk to a stone in the ground. No, you know what? Go visit my family. Go visit my wife, who probably misses, some people that remind her of me.
Right.
Go sit there and talk about us and hang out and give her some company. Or if my kid, talk about me. Don't go and share some memories. Don't go and just like stand at a dull grave. Don't put me in the ground. Screw that. There's so much money. It's so expensive too.
Yeah.
It's a racket, in my opinion. Funerals in general is a racket. Don't waste no money on that. If you could burn my ass on the grill, I'd let you.
What about you, JB?
The funny thing is I've always wanted to do that Vietnamese air burial.
Oh, like the Tibetan area.
That's the damn
They just
thing.
put you on a mountain and let the birds eat you.
I mean, you're in a
Go back to the
position,
earth.
Boom, boom, boom. That's kind of what, not particularly that. I don't know how my wife would feel about that. But I do want to go back in nature. There are the tree pods. That's kind of a cool idea, too.
Yeah,
I
my
wouldn't mind
fiance,
being
she
in a
wants to
tree.
get made into a tree. Yeah.
That's cool because then you
It's
go
gonna be a
visit
fucked
the
up
tree.
tree.
You know,
It's gonna be a
apple tree, whatever.
terrible tree.
That shit gonna be
Yeah,
leaning.
It's gonna be delicious tree. Maybe some apples. So
No,
yeah, I want to go
definitely
back
not.
into nature with some fruit at the end. Tree.
Okay. People literally eating you. Is that camp? That's kind of weird, Jay.
Not really. You get all the nutrients. We go back into dust and dust. We
Okay.
go back.
So that's what my thing is. There's actually
I'm
a
not eating
company
your
where
pieces,
they
JB.
don't turn you into a tree, but they turn you into compost. And
Sure,
so
I've heard of that
then-
too, yeah.
Then they bag up
So you
all of the
use you.
compost so that you can use the compost at your house, so that you can plant the tree in the front yard
Look at
with
that.
your compost, whatever
Similar.
tree you want it to be. And then they also give you like a small little bag just for you to keep like.
That's
you know,
nice.
as
Sure.
for whatever, with like a little metal thing on top of it, and like a little.
I like
metal-
something that my
Yeah.
family can visit. To your point, not a headstone, not a cemetery, but a tree is beneficial.
I think more
to
and
the
more
world,
people
right?
are reverting
I
away
want that.
from
Yeah.
For
away
your
from the
cremating
traditional
scene,
burial.
too, they have a thing with cremating where they can put you inside of a firework and they can shoot you off.
Oh, that's pretty
That's
badass.
cool.
That's pretty badass.
I honestly don't care.
I mean, you're gonna be dead,
Like,
right?
The way I look at it,
Sea
up
burial.
until recently, I always said, "Well, my kid, let him-
Cannonball.
he can decide." But you know
Yeah,
what?
whoever's
The
responsible at
kids
the
can
time.
decide. You know what? Whatever y'all want to do with me. If you want to bury me and have a place a grave to go visit, cool. If you want to cremate me, and it's up to you. Because I'm dead. It don't make me no difference.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I don't want to say, hey, you got to bury me and have a big extravagant fucking funeral. And what if they can't afford it?
Okay.
You know, I mean, hopefully I'll have money to cover it.
Yeah, you might hopefully get
you
a
know,
will or
but
something
I'm just
going.
saying,
Yeah.
it's just like at this point, whatever is more comfortable for them. And now that I'm planning on getting married and stuff, you know, I got to factor the wife into that.
Yeah, I understand.
And
your
hopefully,
Gotta
you
get a
know,
will.
knowing her the way I do, she would probably, you know, talk with them and go from there. But as for me, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. I hope this is the last time that we talk about death on this freaking
I hope so, too.
podcast. At least unless we're talking about some kind of cool, forensic files or
Yeah.
murder stuff, because that's always fun. But yeah, this is the last
Check
time I
out
want
our
to think about
painting,
you
by the
guys
way. They're
dying.
moving, if you can
Yeah,
tell.
pretty trippy. I don't know if the camera's picking it
A
up.
little bit.
Oh yeah, there it goes. Yeah,
check it
pretty
out.
freaking trippy.
Woo, it's
Yeah, we're
magic, y'all.
experimenting here with all kinds of funky stuff. So you will see the back, the set kind
We're
of
evolving
as we go. Yeah, the show's ever evolving, and we appreciate those of you who are taking that ride with us. It will not be for nothing. We love you guys. Every week Wednesday, we'll be back next week. JB Perez,
Sir.
Big Ace.
Yo.
So that next time,
Peace.
peace.
Later.
Oh man, that was a good show.
I don't think we're muted.
Ran a
though.
little long, but don't